A good evening, and welcome to a SK's MortonPiece Theater. I'm your host, Morty D Crab, and tonight's story is gonna be a good one. Now let's enjoy The Ugly Duckling. Okay, now the story starts in a barn by a pond. In the back of that barn, behind a stack of the hay, in the corner, under a window, there was a mother duck who was sitting on her eggs. Okay, now back it out now. Make it the beep beep sound, beep beep. Now one of these eggs, it didn't look like the other eggs. It was bigger and a different color. How it got there, nobody knows, and the mother duck, she ain't a-talking. And as it turns out, it took longer to hatch. By the time that the duckling came out of his egg, his brothers and his sisters were already walking and talking and swimming. Little Dudley, that was his name, he was very shy because he did not have the experience his siblings had, and because he was ugly. Not Steve Buscemi ugly, but when the other barn animals saw him, they usually gasped and donated a little something to his mother, to help her with his care. The chicken came by and told his mother that he must be a turkey. That happened to me once, she said, when I was young and wild. Well, said the mother duck, I don't remember any turkeys. But then again, there's quite a bit I don't remember about a college. But then she realized that little Dudley was a very good swimmer, and it didn't gobble, not even when he was very hungry, so she was sure that he wasn't a turkey. Even though Dudley was the best swimmer, his brothers and his sisters and all the other ducklings at the pond would make fun of him. They'd call him names like Dummy Dudley, or Dudley the Dud, or Dudley, or Duty-Faced Dummy Head Butt Brain, but mostly it was a play on the name of Dudley. The mother duck didn't know her ducklings and others were teasing him. She only knew that he was so sad, so she sent him to camp to make new friends. Most of the kids at the camp were mean to him too. They didn't call him a dumb Dudley because he had shrewdly changed his name to Vinny a Laser Beam to be more cool. But they still called him a duty-faced, dummy-head, butt-brain, and he would run down to the lake and look at his reflection and cry, because even his reflection looked horrified. But one day, during one of his crying jags down by the lake, he saw another reflection. It was a young goose named Dorian. Dorian was tall and skinny and didn't make fun of Dudley. He made fun of all of the other kids, and he really didn't like the grown-ups. He called them things like squares and fascists and bourgeois. Is that how you say that? A bourgeois? Bourgeois, is that right?
Yes, bourgeois.
Okay. All right. Oh, the kids are going to have a hard time trying to read that one. Anyway, he introduced Dudley to his friends. There was a Miranda the chicken, and there was a Edgar the flamingo, and Raj the duck. They would all get together each day by the lake and talk about how breadcrumbs were used by the establishment to keep everyone conforming to the contemporary mold. At the end of the summer, Dudley didn't want to go home, so he hid in his counselor's footlocker until the whole camp was locked up for the winter and everyone left to go back to the data entry jobs. He played and he ate from the stored canned goods and read a catcher in the rye. He was happy until he would see his own reflection in the water. Then he would get sad and blame his mother. Near the end of the autumn, some other birds that he had never seen before visited the lake. These were very elegant and graceful birds. They were tall and very good looking, and Dudley stayed away from them because he didn't want to be made fun of again. But these swans were very nice to him, even nicer than the radical misfits he'd been hanging out with all of the summer. They didn't make fun of anybody, especially not Dudley. They didn't play tricks on him or call him names. They didn't even think he was ugly. They just wanted a few seconds of his time to talk about the Herbalife. that spring, while Dudley played croquet and drank at the mint juleps with the swans, he began to get bigger and stronger. He was not only one of the best swimmers in the flock, but he could also fly very high and very fast. He thought about flying home to show his mother, but he was afraid that all of the other barn animals would tease him again. So he had decided to stay where it was and write his manifesto. One day, during a bout of writer's block, he went out to the lake for a swim, and he saw his reflection. How surprised he was to see that he was now a swan. He was no longer awkward or ugly. Now he was tall, strong, and handsome. He immediately made arrangements for revenge. First, he called his friends to help him with his plot. But when they saw him, they began to treat him like all the other barn animals had always treated him. They told him that he was now part of the establishment, and embracing consumerism made him uglier than ever. They made a couple more jokes about his taste in the music, and then they waddled away laughing at him. Dudley was sad again. The other swans came and told him not to worry because he'd always have them, but by this time, Dudley wouldn't even listen to them. He was determined to show everybody how wrong they were. He was laser-focused, just like his name. Dudley got Sally, Jesse, Raphael to invite his family, all of the barn animals, and even Dorian and the gang to come on the show for a makeover. Of course, Dorian and Roger declined. Miranda accepted, but soon went back to her older look, and Edgar threw a chair and broke Sally's nose. While they were all sitting there, Dudley came strutting out with his wings spread and yelling, "Aha ha! How you like me now?" And his brothers and the sisters and the barn animals, they were now grown, and they were busy with the families of their own. They apologized for teasing him and said they were glad that he was now happy. His mother tried to give him a hug and told him that she'd been worried ever since he left, and that she loved him very much. But Dudley wouldn't hear any of it. He just wanted to make everyone sad that they were mean to him before, and just kept repeating, "Aha ha! How you like me now?" Dudley had been so obsessed with his looks that he never worked on his personality or even any education. So he stormed out of the studio and decided to become an Instagram influencer. His profile says he's a fitness, food, fashion, faith, a lifestyle and travel model blogger and a public figure committed to wellness and positivity empowerment. He has 13 followers.
Everyone at one time or another feels like an outcast. For some, like Red Sox fans, it's justified. But for most of us, the feeling goes away once our ex has been sentenced. Where we are now isn't where we might be tomorrow. At least that's what my landlord always says. And he's 1/8 Cherokee, so you know he's very, very wise. The important thing to remember is that there's someone for everyone. Even Hitler got married, and Eva Braun was fully aware of his mustache. The key to finding our place in this world is to be yourself. Short of that, try getting bit by something radioactive. Remember, revenge is a dish best served cold. So as Leonard Bernstein said, boy, boy, crazy boy, get cool, boy. Until next time, take care of yourself and blame each other.
That was a nice one, huh? You like? I especially like the part where the one character has a thing happen and then another thing happens. I feel like I gotta know more. It's a genius. And if you would like this one, the next one is gonna be just as good. I think. I don't know. That's for the guys in the white coats to decide. I'm just your host. And if you'd like to see more stuff from the SK Morton, go to skmorton.com. You can watch the videos and listen to the podcast and read the stories and learn about the San Francisco walking tour. Hope you watch again at the SK's MortonPiece Theater. Arrivederci.